Hey y'all, it's Kristi Burke here. I am running for the U.S. House of Representatives in Tennessee's 1st District. And I'm so excited about this campaign because we launched a week ago and we have already raised over $23,000 in a grassroots, progressive, people-powered campaign that is not taking corporate dollars, not taking AIPAC money, and is running on abolishing ICE, impeaching Trump, and expanding healthcare access to all people. I feel as though my values and my vision for America are really just common sense human values, something we should all be able to agree on. But unfortunately, we are living in a world of partisan politics where certain policies are attached to a certain political party. And so people automatically don't want to hear it. They automatically reject our ideas and our visions because they're not on our side. And I don't really blame people for this because we are living in a crazy world of chaotic information, and algorithms have been weaponized against us. And our government has worked to make sure we are as uneducated, uninformed, confused, overworked, and apathetic as possible because that's how they get away with what they want to get away with. But I believe that if more people were active and engaged, if more people were having productive conversations about our government and our future, and if more people were voting, then we would easily be able to move forward with more progressive policies like funding education and giving everyone healthcare and making sure that the tax burden is not all falling on working people so that corporations and billionaires can profit. And I want to let everybody know that this is a very new campaign. We launched a little bit earlier than I anticipated, and I am doing a lot myself. I am doing all of the graphic design and building my website and social media. And I have a core leadership team of community members that are helping me, and we're all learning as we go. None of us have worked in political campaigns. This is not something we have expertise in, and we're not inviting in any outside influence or third parties to swoop in and try to manage us because I don't want to be managed because I'm not a politician. I'm just a community member who cares, who is sick of seeing what's happening to the people of my district at the hands of the government, and really what's happening to all of Americans at the hands of the government. And that is why you're going to see me doing things very, very differently. We're not running a normal campaign. My focus is not to do things the right way for political influence, but to do what's best for the people, the community, to make sure they have what they need, to give them a voice and to get them fired up and remind them of their collective power so that when we get to DC, they are ready to use their voice to express their concerns, and they can know that there is somebody listening to them and fighting for them and making sure that they are prioritized. And we've got a lot of attention on this campaign. We launched a week ago and we've already raised over $23,000. We have thousands of people who have been following us on social media and writing to us saying they want to volunteer. There is so much positive support for this campaign because the people are fed up too. But that means that a lot of new faces are here, people who haven't been following me over the last year, who have never heard of me before, and they're skeptical. They have a lot of questions. And I'm really happy about that because that means people are getting active and engaged, and they're asking the right questions to make sure they have the right candidate representing them. And if I was just swooping in and telling you that I have all of the answers and all of the solutions, then I would have no reason to actually listen to you and what your concerns are and what your ideas for your own future are. And so that's why I'm going to be taking a little listening tour over the next month and talking to people and hearing what those needs are so we can build a firm platform. But that doesn't mean that I don't have a vision and I don't have values that are non-negotiable for me. But a lot of people, when they see these things, they ask, how are you going to do this? How will you make sure that every single person has healthcare without raising our taxes and making it more expensive for us? Or how are you going to make sure that healthcare in the hands of the government is efficient and actually runs properly so that people can have the care that they really need, high quality care? And I might not know everything, but what I do know is that right now our healthcare system isn't working for us. The private healthcare system is doing what people say the government healthcare system would do, except worse because people are profiting off of it. We have healthcare CEOs making tens of millions of dollars, denying claims so that they can continue profiting tens of millions of dollars a year. And people are paying hundreds or thousands of dollars out of pocket for this care just to have their claims denied, just so a corporate CEO can buy a fifth vacation home. That's not a system that's working. And people will argue and say, if we have the government running healthcare, it's never going to be efficient and nobody will get high quality care. And I understand people's concerns with that. But the reason we don't trust our government is because we stopped participating in our government. The point of a democracy is that we're supposed to be participating in how our lives are run. Otherwise, we're just outsourcing our own power, our own vision, our own hopes and dreams off to the highest bidder. The government is supposed to be run for the people, by the people. And so the more we participate, the better we can feel that our government is running efficiently and giving us everything we need. And then people will say, well, how do we pay for this? You're going to raise my taxes? And that's the thing. I don't want to raise your taxes if you're just a working American trying to get by and provide for your family. I want to shift the burden away from you and onto corporations and billionaires who are hoarding wealth and exploiting the system, who are taking their profits and lobbying our government and our political leaders for poor working regulations, for low pay, for big tax breaks so they can profit as much as possible, using our resources, using our labor, exploiting us so they can just make more. And we have to deal with the scraps. I want higher taxes for corporations, for billionaires, because they have more than they will ever need, and they just keep taking. Back in 2017, when Trump introduced his Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, he said that it would be great for the economy because it would all trickle down. And what happened is that the largest tax cuts and the biggest benefits went to the top 1%, while we got just little tiny tax cuts. And last year, they passed a bill to make those tax cuts for corporations and CEOs permanent. Most of us have realized by now that trickle-down does not work. And it was proven in 2017 when corporations received their big tax cuts. You know what they did? They padded their own pockets. We experienced the largest corporate stock buyback in U.S. history the same year that corporations received their big tax cuts, which means they didn't pass the savings on to you. They didn't take their tax savings and invest it in better working conditions, in higher wages. Instead, they just inflated the value of their companies so they could profit more. And then they took their profits and they lobbied your political leaders so that they wouldn't have to pay you more, so that they wouldn't have to give you better working conditions, so they wouldn't have to give you paid leave. That's not a system that works for us. And something that I learned is that freedom is very important and valuable. Individual freedom is very important. But my freedom ends where yours begins, meaning I can't do something to violate your freedom. And if I do, then there's going to be consequences for that, or there should be. And so if corporations and billionaires are working so that they can violate our right to life, our right to liberty, our right to pursue happiness, because we are so overworked, underpaid, and sick that we can't actually enjoy our lives while they hoard wealth and buy their fifth vacation home, they are violating our rights. They are impeding on our freedom. And so I want to bring power back to the people. And I want to make sure that there is fairness and equity between us. I want to close the wealth gap. And I want to make it so that those at the top can't keep exploiting us, can't keep using up our resources, and still getting more benefits from our tax dollars than we get. I'm here to help keep you fired up, to educate and inform you, and to talk about these things in ways that are palatable for the everyday person to understand. And I think it's really important that you pay attention to your current representative in Congress and ask, when was the last time she listened to you, she asked what you needed, and then she tried to educate you and inform you on what's actually going on, rather than just spewing whatever propaganda is sent to her from Trump.